and welcome back. After a couple of fantastic talks this morning, we're going to do something a little bit fun before we go to our next talk. So we have a competition for you, a game, if you're paying attention. Yesterday, I tweeted this selfie of me and Purnima during our tech check with me in the background, a kind of inception selfie, if you will. And we'd like to have a bit of fun now. So we have a challenge for you. Please go to Twitter, find this picture, take a selfie with this picture, and let's create a true inception selfie. And in 1 hour's time, that's after the next 2 sessions, we will choose a winner, the person who has managed to get the longest chain possible. So I think we can do a demonstration. We have Arnold in the studio as well from Umbraco, and Henk. Let's get everyone on stage. So as many people as we can get in this photo, we're going to try and get in this photo here. And Purnima's going to take a selfie. She's going to quote tweet this tweet with the hashtag
this is going to be fun.
Community Day. And your challenge now is to go to Twitter, find Purnima's selfie, quote tweet that, and tweet your own inception selfie with the hashtag Umbraco Community Day. If you do not include the hashtag, your entry will not count. You have to find whoever's done the most recent post, quote tweet that, post your selfie, and whoever gets the longest chain within the next hour will win some fantastic prizes that we'll tell you about a little bit later. But with that, enjoy, have a bit of fun, and we're going to go to our next speaker. And hello, Mr. Lee Kelleher.
Good morning from Bristol.
Good morning from Bristol. Bristol massive. How are you doing?
Yeah, very well, thank you.
Awesome.
Yeah,
well,
how are you both?
Yeah, it's great. We've nearly peaked 100 live viewers currently on the stream, which is really, really awesome. So people are clearly excited to hear about Contentment.
Cool.
Maybe
Wow.
well, I look forward to hearing your story. Maybe we'll just let you take it away.
Yeah, sure. Well, I'll try and bring things back onto track and see if we can catch up some time as well.
You don't need to. You've got as long as you need.
Super. Okay. Right. Well, I'm gonna share my screen. Okay. Right. Okay. So yes, this session is finding contentment, and there it is. Okay, session over. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Lee Kelleher. I've been doing Umbraco for, I don't know, since 2007, which was Umbraco 3. So if some of you who are watching have been around that long as well. Yes, hello. And yeah, if I'm new to you, then I've been in Brown Umbraco community for quite a long time. Developed many packages. Started various events and meetups, so Co-Cabin and on Bristol, and more recently been involved with the community team. So for the new back office. So yeah, I'm always very enthusiastic and excited about the Umbraco community. So yes, hello. So contentment. Firstly, just to answer the question, how do you find contentment? It's here. It's on the Umbraco marketplace. It's up on the homepage. You can find it in one of the most popular ones. Not that I like the big ego or anything, but yes, it's up there. And what is contentment? It's a collection of, say, property editors and other various components. I mean, I won't list them all out because this will take up all the time. But if you have used it, then you most likely, and this is also based on some statistics I've been gathering as well, the data list is the kind of the key big property editor that everyone enjoys using. So I will demo some of that functionality today, but there are many other things that you can, once you've downloaded it and installed it, you can explore. How to download it? It's up on NuGet. Just this one small point is Contentment still supports version 8, so it supports version 8, 9, 10, and 11, and it will support 12. Will it support 13? Who knows? It's still a big thing with the new back office. There's a lot of work that will need to be done. But anyway, that's beside the point. If you want to install for Umbraco 8, you can do that from the back office or from the R Umbraco website, which is obviously separate from this. Okay. Okay, I don't need to cover telemetry. There is telemetry stats inside Contentment, which I try to be open and transparent as possible. I have a website that lists all of the telemetry stats that I get, and this is where I can see like data list is by far the most popular after some of the other editors. So that's what I will focus on for this. So what I wanted to do for my demo, and there's no slides, it's just going to be purely the Umbraco back office, no mention of Azure, Kubernetes, containers, things like that, just Umbraco, no DXP, drinking games, just the Umbraco back office. So I wanted to bring in a whole bunch of data into the back office too, so I could use. So what I'm a kind of a big movie fan. I brought in IMDb's top 100 movies. I found some JSON on some maybe not legit website, but I found some JSON listing all of these things. So we get things like the title of the movie, the year, the genre, all of the actors and cast and whoever else was in it. And I wanted to bring this into Umbraco. So I created some doc types to bring this in, and I ran some code, but that's not the kind of important thing. What I wanted was a big chunk of data. So that's what I did. So every genre that you kind of come across, I want to set up these up as their own node, so I can have pickers, and then every person would be also a node as well. So I'll bring you to the back office now. Okay, so I created the Umbraco movie database, pulling data from the IMDb, using Umbraco, and also the movie database, which is a great open developer kind of tool as well for pulling in movie information. There's so many good websites as well that use this information, like Letterboxd and things. And yeah, and using the power of Contentment. So saying what I was pulling in some of these informations, what I have here is Umbraco setup of like what would be the website, and then repositories as well of data. So say for like the genres, they were all brought in. Maybe not the best view. Let's try and use your list view. Yeah, so I brought in all the different genres. There's no content behind these. It's just pretty much names really, but I can show you some more of that in a moment. And then all of the people as well. So we've now got a list, loads and loads of people imported. There are actually 10 pages. There's actually like 1,400 people being brought in, just so I had a big chunk of data that I could cross-reference with the movies and things. And then also the movies have all been imported in as well. There's only 100 of them to kind of keep the data set condensed. Okay, so what I wanted to do for each one of these movies was have pickers for various things. So let's say things like the genres and the director or the people. It kind of makes sense. So what I would traditionally see if I was going to, what I've seen people do on their own Umbraco sites, or what you would typically do if you didn't have any other third-party packages, you would use a multi-node tree picker. Now, sometimes people don't set the start node. So when you come to the multi-node tree picker, you get like an interface like this, and then you have to like try to find where the genres were or whatever you could use. Otherwise, everything's just kind of blocked off. So you come in, you can pick your genres. Got to move my little thing. And then you would have a list like this, and then for the director or it's basically a people lookup as well, trying to find the people. So if you wanted to say search for like Steven Spielberg, you would add him in like this. And 99% of the times this UI is fine, but sometimes you want to be able to use a different UI for this as well. So maybe for the genres I don't want to have a multi-node tree picker interface. I want to have checkbox list or some other kind of UI, and this is where the data list will come into play. So yeah, I'll show you quickly what a data list is, and I can show you how I'm using it with the genre picker and how in this scenario. Yeah, so I'm kind of speeding ahead. Sorry if any of this is not familiar with you. Okay, so I came into data types. I say create a new data type. I select what data type I want to use, and then here we got a list of all of the different data types that is installed with Umbraco. All the Contentment ones are up at the top. Data list is what we're going to use here. So the premise of data list is that you have a data source where these items are going to come from, and you have a list editor, how you're going to display it and interact with it. So the data source is a list of all of these options all come out of the box. So there is data sources for all sorts of things. If you want to pull in an XML feed, or you want to define your own list, you can do, or if you want to sort of automate it from the .NET framework, you can also do that. In this case, what I want to be able to do is use Umbraco content. Oh, there's also an option. If you scroll all the way down, like you can't find your thing, there is information about how to create custom ones. You can use a bit of C#, or .NET languages, but a bit of .NET to implement an interface, and you can have your own data list. Okay, so in this case, we want to use the Umbraco content. So here I would say, okay, show me everything from the genres. Okay, and then there's no preview or anything yet because I need to show a list. I should need to show the list, and this is what you would get now. This is the UI for that data source really. So let's just go with the first one, which is a selection of buttons, and just leave it as default. What we get now is a selection of all the buttons. So instead of having a multi-node tree picker, you can pick like these. But if you want to, say with the buttons, you want to have multiple values, there's an option further down saying let multiple values. Say I don't want the icon, just want text only, and you can have it like this now. So you can pick that way. But maybe buttons isn't the right UI for this, so you can get rid of that. Say you want checkbox, you get a list of checkboxes, which gets quite long, really. My general rule of thumb, if you have about 7, then that's a checkbox list is all right. If you have, like here, 20, that's not so good. The other, just to say about this interface of the preview, you can actually see what the values of these items are going to be. Now in this case, because the nodes is the UDI, or the kind of the GUID ID for this. You can actually see with the JSON data what you get behind the scenes. So I thought for genres, they're almost like tags. So I went for like a tag interface for this to show. So you get more of an interface, an Umbraco style interface, so it feels kind of natural. So if we went for, say, a drama, and I'm just using the keyboard here just to start typing and tabbing, kind of give that kind of natural kind of thing of what the let me just see if I got any others there. War, yeah. Anyway, war movies. So we can then use that instead of the multi-node tree picker, which is great. So that's what I wanted to do. So I've created a bunch of these for. Let's move this out of the way. For the genres, and also I created one for a person picker. So be able to be able to do exactly the same thing with the Umbraco content, pick people, and then you'll get a list of 1,300 people, which is a bit crazy. If you kind of see the UI for this, you wouldn't want to use a checkbox list for this. You wouldn't want to use a drop down for this because it's an excessive amount of data really. If I click on here, you kind of see it takes a little bit to load up. I mean, it does load up. It's all filterable. It's just you want to find Steven Spielberg again, great. But to me, that's an excessive amount of data. So even though data list, I kind of feel like I'm showing you how to not use contentment here, but even though data list can do this, you got to be careful of how many options are in there. If you have a limited number of options, then great. Now, one of the things I was able to do with the data that I pulled in, I could see which people were, what the roles were, whether they were directors, writers, whichever else. So at this point, I needed to be able to filter down which people I was going to pick. Now there's nothing in here that in this data source that could be able to filter down a bit more. At this point you have to say I need to create my own custom data source for this, which is what I did really. So let's just come on to the directors one. I created, and if I remove it, I can show you how I added it in. What I did was created a custom data source, which I can show you that in a moment, but just to kind of show you the kind of the end result before I show you the how the sausage was made. You pick by the different roles, and then you say I just want to see the directors, okay, and then you get a data source back of a list of all of the people who are marked as directors. And if you wanted to swap that round to say just actors or writers, you could do the same as well. And then if you wanted to go a bit further than that and say, oh, I just want a list of, you know, in this case, I'm just picking directors, but if you wanted to have one for writer directors, then you can filter that down a little bit more as well. So you can get to see, you know, which of the people who have written and directed, you know, particular movies. And if you want to go all the way, you can want to see who's written, directed, everything, and acted in it as well. Charlie Chaplin is one of the kind of the big ones, really. He did everything himself. So yes, anyway, bit of a movie buff, so I like that information. So yeah, so this one was purely just to show the directors. So once I've got these in place, and I can now get to the good part, not saving that because it's already saved. I had all of the movies brought in, and then also including all of the movie posters as well. And here I've got, obviously the genres one is in as tags. I've got directors, which will just show me the directors, which you see, if you think about what I just showed a minute ago, the amount of time that took to load up the list of all of all the people, that was a lot quicker. Same for the writers. It kind of, maybe ever such a small delay, but it's kind of it's there quick enough. But then when you come to the actors, which still has, I don't know, over 1,000, you can see it takes a little bit more time to load that in. So we will get to what's the better UI for this. Maybe the multi-node tree picker is the one, if really that's the UI here that we want to use. But this is, you know, what this is, I guess what this whole session is about is trying to make sort of like nice, beautiful back offices, really trying to make them kind of nicer for the content editor, and also kind of give more of a kind of professional feel in the style of Umbraco. There are other, just to go off on a little tangent, as I was like building this page, there were other little things that kind of niggle me about the Umbraco back office as well. Things like this is a numeric field, but the width of this field is so long, and I know why. Visually, you know, you want to, cosmetically, you want to, you know, align these things, but still, it's a massive number. You know, ones if someone starts going crazy and sticking a huge number in here, you want to kind of limit, you know, the kind of the intended input that people are going to have for this. So just one of the other quick features that of Contentment, if I come into the, say you want to edit the doc type, yeah, don't worry about the changes. So we'll have like the year, which uses an Umbraco numeric field, but I want to change this to something that is in Contentment, which is I just type in here number. You know, here's one I created earlier. I'll show you the fields for this. So the fields for this it's a numeric input, but you can actually control the width. So you can say, I want this to be small, and so if you've got like maybe 3 digits, or something that's got, you know, up to 6 digits, and then all the way up to the extra long one, which is the full width of this. So obviously a year is in the thousands, so I stuck with this. So that's already configured. Save that, save and close this, and then once the content node reloads, we can then come down and we've got a nicer kind of, you know, a trimmed version of the year. And you could do the same for the duration and runtime if you wanted. That's fine. Yeah, one of the other things before I get onto how to solve this kind of picker problem is the data that I pulled in from the movie database API. They just gave me blobs of JSON, and sometimes I didn't really know what I was going to do with this information. So I literally I've dumped the information, the JSON blob, into the bottom of this page. So this is stored as a field, and it's just like a kind of I'll say read-only field. I'll show you can edit this data if you wanted to, but this is a editor in Contentment called a templated label, and what this lets you do is just dump data into it, and then you can present it in however way you like. So I get all of the cast information, everything like this, and I scrolled up too fast. And then if you did wanted to tweak little parts, there's a property action in here called edit raw value, and that'll pull in the JSON information, and then you can actually change you know, any of this information, you know, that sort of thing. And then, you know, you can change that, and that will save that data. And if you want to use that data on the front end, you can do. Entirely up to you. No problem. But the cool thing with this is that because this is templated, and if I come back over to edit this doc type, and and we come down to see what this is all the way down here, templated label of a JSON dump. I come in and say I want to edit this. So this templated label is literally an Angular template. So you don't have to create your own files or anything. This is here. So this is a details tag with an Umbraco directive called code snippet, which is it's used in various places in the back office. I use it a lot for kind of debugging things, and it's quite nice. It's got a copy button on it. It's cool. But you can also, once you've got an Angular template, you can do what you like inside here. So I created, if you wanted to maybe like create a nice preview or something a bit richer, what I did here was I took, say, a background image, some inline styles, and then I've just outputted the title and the tagline of the movie, just knowing the kind of the structure of the JSON. So when I close this, come back to the content, we scroll all the way down, what we get down here is a kind of a nicer looking UI, and that's just pulling stuff from that JSON. And that applies to all the different movies that we've got on here as well. So let's just say Forrest Gump. Scroll down, see you can do that. You can do that sort of thing. So you've got the power to do whatever you wanted, as long as you know how to do the Angular templates and things. Okay, so I shall come back to the picker problem. Oh, I didn't talk about the data source before. That's all right. We'll catch up. I'll share some of this code later if we need to. Ping me on Twitter and things. Mastodon. And okay, so the pickers. Okay, now here's something that's not in Contentment, but again, a part of this idea of kind of creating beautiful back offices. When I looked in the media section, when I added all these things in, I thought, oh, this is quite a nice UI to show off all the movies, but this is just all the media images. I thought maybe if I could take some of this and put it into the list view over here. So I created a custom list view, kind of minimal. There's other tutorials online about this, but I created a list view of all of the different movies, and I've also applied it to the people as well. So we get to see a nice kind of visual representation of all the different movie stars and directors and whoever else. Wouldn't it be cool if in the picker we had something a bit more visual that we can do instead of just being able to just pick names really? So it's not in Contentment right now. It's a feature that I'm working on called Data Picker, as in data list. These things are just the names. Okay, so just to kind of cut to the chase, it's similar to data list in that you can. Maybe I'll show the configuration of it. So similar to data list in that you've got a data, you pick your property editor, you've got a display mode, and in this is cards. The other ones are kind of like to give it a feel of multi-node tree picker and just like a list of things. And the only data source I've written so far is this the Umbraco content one. Again, similar thing, you pick the node where it goes to, but also a way to have an image, and you give the alias of what that image is. In time, I would like to have a nicer kind of UI to kind of pick these things. But for now, this is it. And then, what's the page size that you want? And this will become apparent now when I show this part off. So say we want a people picker, we now get a picker like this. So we can now still we can have search in here, and this is a lot faster because all it's doing a paginated search, so it's only pulling back those results. It's not trying to do the entire list of however many it was, like 1200 actors and things. So we can we can find things a lot easier in this kind of UI. There's also pagination down at the bottom if you just wanted to to go through it. There's loads of people I've not heard of in here, but anyway, that's who have I heard of? Alec Guinness, there we go. Yes. Okay, so yeah, and then I've also done the same as well for movies. I'm trying to think of a movie. Yeah, Dark Knight's a good one. Okay, so if I then just to come to the draw to a close of how I want this page to look, let's pick. Fight Club. Okay, so I will come in and I'll swap these over, these ones, because it uses the same underlying data, which is just those node IDs, the GUIDs. And Come through. Okay, and then I can change these just as I need to. What was it called? Data picker. This is a person picker. Okay, sorry, this is the boring bit. Or the fantastic bit. And I'll do the same for actors. That's right. Cool. That closes that, and then when we come back, we now get a more of a visual, approach to this as well. Okay. There's some people that I've not got images for, but anyway, yeah, that's fine. Yeah. Okay. So I think, yeah, just to bring things back onto time, there are more stuff in there. I may do other kind of ad hoc talks and things in future about this. But yeah, that's pretty much Contentment. Yeah.
Hi, Lee.
Hello.
Hello. Thank you very much.
Yeah. There was more, but I'll leave it because I'm just conscious of time.
Well, that's very kind of you. Thank you. I think, and judging by the chat, actually, there's a lot of chatter going on about Contentment, and people saying, Remco, for example, saying he really loves Contentment, and he's really happy. He loves using it. He's worried it will go away. I think he's worried it will go the same way as New Pickers, for example, where it sort of disappeared. But at least in my perspective, and I'd love to hear your view on this, it seems like you've been in this for the long haul, because it was built on 8, wasn't it? And you've supported 9, 10, 11.
11, yeah.
You're still actively supporting a lot of those versions. So
yeah,
feels like
I mean, I want it to be in 13. I want it to I want to stick around forever. But what it may need is community. Because obviously I've been lugging all this stuff around. I've got lots of, I mean, I don't want to call it debt, but like, if the day 13 comes out and people are expecting all of those property editors, it's too much for one person. So I would like to share the work, really.
Indeed, and as a concept and a platform, actually, there's a lot of things there that really should be coming into the core of the CMS at some point. Some of this flexibility makes a load of sense, doesn't it?
Yeah, I am not against kind of these. I mean, these ideas aren't mine as such. Taking in forms, Umbraco forms, those concepts are there already.
Yeah.
You want to populate a checkbox list with a data source, it's there. So
Having said that, isn't a data picker or data editor from Contentment already in hardcore?
Yes. It's a reduced feature set though.
Yes.
So it obviously there's a lot of things that come out of the box with Contentment that is just it's too much for hardcore. Too much. Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, yeah, I think it's here to stay. We personally love using it. It's really fantastic. So great work. Love your work, Lee.
Yes.
And
cool.
Thank you very much for your talk. Really appreciate you taking the time.
That's all right. Good luck with the rest of the day.
Thank you. We hope you tune in.
Yes, absolutely.
And we'll be moving on now to our next speaker.